How much is a loved one's health and wellness worth? For most people, the answer to that question is whatever it takes. But for some dealing with financial hardships, whatever it takes is too expensive an option. Every day across this country, sick or injured pets are relinquished to animal shelters because their families cannot afford the costs associated with making them well again. For those suffering animals, being handed over in their most desperate time of need is the greatest gift that their families could give. That's what brought Lady to the Champaign County Humane Society. One cool autumn day, she escaped her yard, ran into the street, and was struck by a car. Though she survived the initial accident, the trauma of the collision left Lady's hind legs seemingly paralyzed. What was Lady's health and wellness worth? For her family, the answer to that question was obvious in theory, but impossible in reality. Knowing that they would be unable to afford the hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of treatment and rehabilitation, Lady's family relinquished her to the Champaign County Humane Society. A severe injury such as hers required an experienced diagnosis. Thanks to an ongoing partnership between the Humane Society and the University of Illinois Veterinary Teaching Hospital, Lady was able to be examined by a veterinarian specializing in neurological injuries.
I was asked by the Humane Society to take a look at Lady. She had been dropped off at the shelter with severe neurologic symptoms. She couldn't move her back legs, she couldn't feel her back legs either. When they took x-rays of her spine, they noticed that she had what's called a subluxation, so her vertebrae didn't match up correctly. Luckily, I looked at Lady about 24 hours after I spoke with the Humane Society. She still couldn't move her back legs, but she had feeling in those back legs. So that was an important piece of the information. My hope is that we could continue to treat her conservatively with pain relieving medications and rest and give her time to see what would happen. And luckily, we had a really good outcome with her.
Lady was going to need skilled and compassionate care for the duration of her long rehabilitation. For that reason, she was placed into the home of a volunteer foster parent.
Foster families are really important at the Humane Society because they can provide love and time until an animal finds their forever home. When she first came to the house, her tail was constantly wagging. She couldn't move her back legs, but it was really a really good sign that she was going to be a happy dog eventually. So we used the sling with her a lot and would take her out for her walks and just kind of get her around the house with the sling. Then I decided to go ahead and build her a wheelchair for just some fun to let her kind of move around on her own, see what she wanted to do. And then we kept using the sling, but as she got better, she kind of weaned away from that and just became more mobile.
Nearly 6 months after being struck and injured by a car, Lady was finally ready to be adopted by a forever home.
We first met Lady when we were walking our dog Austin in the neighborhood. You know, right away you can tell when two dogs are interested in each other and they can be buddies. And in May when we were ready to adopt, we always kept thinking about Lady, like, oh, Lady was such a wonderful dog, but we figured she'd already been adopted. And then we saw her one more time, you know, and so as soon as we saw her, we knew that was the dog that we wanted.
The first time she came back to visit and play with Austin in the yard here, she was so full of energy. She would just run around. She's always very happy and cheerful and energetic and
playful.
Playful,
She always
yes.
wants to play. We're so lucky that they did this because she's a wonderful addition to our family, you know, and we couldn't be happier, you know, with any other dog. It was a great thing they did.
Lady's story is just one among many. Each day at the Champaign County Humane Society, animals arrive in need of varying degrees of help. They're met by staff members and volunteers who work tirelessly to treat their wounds, whether physical or emotional. Though we hope for a time when none experience hunger, illness, or injury, the simple fact is there will forever be pets in need. Thanks to the generosity of its supporters, the Humane Society's doors will always be open.